Up next on Dr. Nancy Knows, Lloyd Hopkins. He is a ASU graduate in nonprofit management, CEO and founder of $1 Million Teachers Project. You do not want to miss. Hi, I'm Dr. Nancy, and this is Dr. Nancy Knows, your medical celebrity talk show host that brings awareness, motivation, and inspiration to many communities across our nation, bridging the gap of disparity, uniting the world at large. We do that not only through my 25 years of experience, but also through individuals that are experts in their field of industry, and every once in a while we'll sprinkle a celebrity or two. You can watch Dr. Nancy Knows right here on this network, drnancyknows.com, YouTube, Facebook, Roku TV, Fire Stick, Amazon as well. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Today we have Lloyd Hopkins, and he is an ASU graduate specializing in nonprofit organizations. He is the CEO and founder of $1 Million Teachers Project. It's his 5th anniversary this year, and I'm happy to have him on the show. Hi, Lloyd.
Hi, I'm excited to be here. I'm honored that you invited me to the platform, and so I'm looking forward to a great conversation. I love the work that you do and how you really seek to empower and highlight and elevate people that are doing great work in the community. So I'm excited to be here with you today.
Thank you, Lloyd. Mm-hmm. You know, we need more examples like you.
Yeah.
Making a difference in our youth today.
Representation matters, and it's important for kids to know, especially kids that come from communities like me. I grew up single mother household, middle of 3 boys. Mom worked 2-3 jobs just to keep a roof over our head. And it's important, and growing up, I thought my ideas of success were so limited, right? We grow up thinking, when you come from those type of environments, that your only way out or your only pathway to success is being an athlete, being a musician or an entertainer. And that's one reason why I really loved Barack Obama winning the presidency, because I really felt he added a real tangible another option for other black kids, to really look at and say, hey, I could be president one day, and it could really happen, because we have to see ourselves in it. And so I think it's important for when we highlight the diverse array of how we're impacting the community, how we're making a difference in the world, and a diverse array of what success looks like, because a lot of folks, even though I work in the nonprofit arena, I'm a social entrepreneur. That's the way that I really describe myself, because people often make have the misconception around nonprofits that you also can't earn a decent living running a nonprofit organization. That's just not true. The only difference between a nonprofit and a for-profit is a tax-exempt status. But they're both still businesses, and they both still have to generate revenue, and they both still have to be have a product that they produce. The difference between $1 Million Teacher Project and Coca-Cola, right, is that Coca-Cola is creating a soda that you can buy in the store. $1 Million Teacher Project is delivering a better education for our students by empowering teachers. But we still have to have the resources and the funding to be able to operate that, because what any nonprofit executive or any nonprofit leader or anybody doing community work needs, more than a pat on the back, which pats on the back are great, don't get me wrong, but they need your funding. They need your support, your time, talent, and treasures so they can grow that work. And so what I always try to tell people is that when you see somebody doing good work, doing something that you care about, whether it's health, if you love the environment, if you love animals, there are people doing great work in those arenas, and those great people need that financial support to keep doing that work. Because if they can't grow, if they can't eventually hire a staff, if they can't expand what they're doing, the work is going to eventually go away. So people have to reframe the way that they look at and engage nonprofit organizations, and because we often fill the gap that's not being covered by the government or not being covered by business. You know, we come in to fill that gap, and so it's needed. You know, we're job creators. We impact the community in so many different ways, and so it's important for people to know this is a viable option as a career path. And there's so much that you can do in the nonprofit arena, and you get to wake up every day not only making a difference, but doing something that you enjoy, making a good living while you do it.
Well, that is so well done, and thank you for clearing up some of those misconceptions on profitability for nonprofit.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And is there a way that individuals can get a hold of you for speaking engagements to talk more on those points, and also about what you're doing with the $1 Million Teachers Project?
Certainly. So we're on all social media platforms. People can reach us at MDT Project. So at M as in million, D as in dollar, T as in teacher project. Whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever it is, you can find us that way. You can look me up on LinkedIn, Lloyd Hopkins. Feel free to send me a message, reach out. So those are some, or our website, which is mdtproject.org. So all of those means are ways people can reach out and connect with me. I'd love to come talk to you.
Absolutely. You know, not only are you so interested in fulfilling a teacher and empowering a teacher and help supporting them to make sure that they have the tools necessary to empower our youth.
Yeah.
You do other things in the community that help young men as well.
Yeah.
You sit on a board that is called, you're a member of REAP.
Yeah,
So tell us about that.
So REAP REAP stands for Real Engagement Through Active Philanthropy. And what it is a group of 50 African American men who come together every year to put our own money, put our own financial resources together to impact the community. So we give between $500 to $1,000 to $2,500 a year of our own salaries into the organization, and then we give grants to organizations that are positively impacting African American young men between the ages of 16 to 21 years old every single year. You know, and that organization has been around for about 6 years now and growing, and we've impacted a number of organizations, giving out thousands upon thousands of dollars into the community. And what I love about being a member of REAP is that that we really pick apart that misconception that, especially in the Black community, we don't work together. Not only do we work together, we invest in each other. Not only do we invest in each other, we bring our dollars together, and we trust each other as being good stewards of those dollars and impacting the community. You know, so it's so my life is a series of connected tissue around trying to create a more equitable society. When I graduated high school, I really wanted to be, and I've heard you mention this, I've heard you say this saying yourself, but I think it was Gandhi that coined this, but he said, be the change you want to be in the world. And I grew up in like I mentioned a moment ago, single mother household, and didn't really have many positive male figures around. I never had that lean on me moment where I had a teacher take me under their wing and say, Lloyd, you can be somebody. I never really had that. And coming out of high school, I decided that I wanted to be that. I felt that every kid deserves to have that positive male role model, and every kid also deserves to have that positive adult that sees something in you, that believes in you, that tells you you can be something. And so that's a part of the reason why I launched $1 Million Teacher Project, because I launched it for two reasons. For three reasons actually. One, for the kid that does have that amazing teacher that impacted their lives. I want to make sure every kid has it. And I want to make sure that teacher that is making a difference is highlighted, recognized, and appreciated, and getting well supported for the work they do. But also for the kids like me. I describe myself as that slips through the cracks kid. And what that means is that I wasn't bad enough to get a lot of attention, but I also wasn't good enough to get a lot of attention. So I just floated right in the middle, which is many students in our classroom. And so those kids just floating in that middle often get ignored, right? Or often don't get recognized for anything, you know? And so we have to make sure our teachers have the capacity to do that. Because if we think about how our current delivery system of how instruction is delivered, where we have, which hasn't been innovated in 100 years, and there's nothing on earth, there's no system that we've allowed to stay the same for 100 years, but we've allowed our classrooms to remain the same for 100 years. And so you have one teacher in front of 25, 30 kids on average, delivering instruction to the best of their ability. But often what happens is that teachers have to resort to either teaching to the top of the class, to the bottom of the class, or to the middle of the class, because they're human and there's only so much that you can do when you're one person in front of 25 to 30 kids. In that classroom of those 25 to 30 kids, everybody learns differently. Everybody receives information differently, and so teachers don't necessarily always have the opportunity to diversify and differentiate instruction to accommodate the different learning styles in their classroom. And so that creates a classroom environment that's not really working the best for all of us. We have plenty of examples of us making it in spite of, but imagine what would happen and come out of classrooms if classrooms were able to adapt and be able to be more responsive to different learning styles, if teachers were well-resourced, well-compensated, and recognized for the work that they do every single day, the impact that that will have on a student. And so what I like to say is that we support students by supporting the teacher. Because on average, students spend, 9 months, 8 hours a day in the classroom with their teacher. The teacher is often spending more time with the student than the family is. So that time is precious and that time is important. And so we have to make sure we create happy, healthy, whole students to ensure they create happy, healthy, whole students. Happy, healthy, whole teachers to make sure they create happy, healthy, whole students. So I'm sorry, I can't remember what the question was, I'm truly passionate about the work, and I just really want people to know how important it is that we make sure we take care of our teachers and how that connects to representation.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Teachers are not the parents, and they're solely there to educate the student.
Yeah.
And it's the parents' job to really equip the children ready to receive that education. So I like that. You're on a task force as well with Achieve 60AZ in the Department of Education on improving attainment for African American communities. And you were recognized, right, for by this award by the NAACP as well.
Mm-hmm. So the work we've been doing for the past it was 4 years at the time. The East Valley NAACP gave us a Education Equity Award. It was the Malala Yousafzai Education Equity Award. And when I decided to do this work, I didn't do it for a parade. And I really had to have an honest conversation with myself in the mirror before I decided to launch $1 Million Teacher Project. And what the conversation I had with myself was, is it about Lloyd changing education, or is it about education being changed? Which are two different perspectives. Because if it's about the fact that education just needs to be changed, then it doesn't matter whose name gets mentioned. It doesn't matter about getting awards. It doesn't, as long as at the end of the day, the end result is an improved education system, a more equitable education system for all students. That's what the goal is. And so I'm not doing any of this work to be invited to interviews or to have everybody screaming my name in the street. But my mission and my passion is to, in some small way, be a part of the education system improving, innovating, and impacting more students in a better way and creating more positive outcomes for our students. Yes. So if in some small way I can be a part of that, that's what I want to do.
Well, that's awesome. Empowering your teachers with the tools that they need to be as effective as they can be to all students in the classroom.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
What a great thing. It's so much bigger than yourself, and those are very good questions that you asked. You know, when you started this organization, who are you doing it for?
Yeah.
So that's so important. You allow yourself to be used on a larger level and scale, and for that, you will get mentioned, but you're not doing it for the mentioning.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to bring you on the show,
I appreciate it.
To bring more awareness to what you're doing, and for others that have a passion to empower teachers to support his cause.
Yeah.
To make a difference.
Yeah, and again, I can't thank you enough. And what I feel the secret sauce of $1 Million Teacher Project is that we're creating sustainable ways that can be scaled for more people to participate in this conversation. Because once your awareness grows around the issue, then there's more opportunity for us to turn that awareness into action. So we take that awareness and create pathways of involvement. So now it's on your mind that we need to do more for teachers. I want to help make that easy for you to do that. So what I like to say is I want to make sure people can do one amazing thing for teachers every year. If we all have take on that ownership and that responsibility, just do one amazing thing for a teacher in a year, one meaningful thing. Do one meaningful thing, and I say meaningful because meaningful is different to all of us. But do one meaningful thing for an educator a year that changes the paradigm, that changes the culture around what it means to be a teacher, how it feels to be a teacher, the experience of teachers, and then that changes classrooms. Because I do believe it is a community issue and a community responsibility to do more for our educators, because they are truly a part of the fabric of society.
Yeah, they're the backbone to our children today.
Yeah.
Like you said, they spend so much more time with their teachers than they do with their families.
Yeah.
So it's so key. And you know what I can see in the future for what you're doing is being an example here in the state of Arizona for many states across the country about what you're doing.
Yeah.
And the teachers need this one meaningful thing once a year. It should be easy to do, especially coming off of our 2-year hiatus, if you will. I mean, honestly, teachers have had to reinvent themselves, get so creative to instill knowledge in our children. And that's no easy feat. And I know parents across the country have really realized the importance of the teacher in the classroom.
Yeah. It's, dealing with the pandemic, you had teachers, not even just teachers, all of us.
Yes.
We had to deal with something we never thought in our lifetime we would have to deal with, to wrap our heads around. And then teachers were put in an environment where they were having to deal with issues they never thought they'd have to deal with in this profession. They had to deal with politics, they had to deal with safety, they had to deal with their own health, and still show up for kids. And which has led to a lot of teachers feeling burned out. We have teachers leaving the profession at alarming rates, and I don't think we realize how close we are to teacher-less classrooms. And what I mean by that is, I don't want to be all apocalyptic, but we will always have a warm body in a classroom standing in front of kids. So we will always have that, but we're at a threat of having less qualified, competent, skilled teachers in the classroom if we don't take ownership of our responsibility of surrounding these teachers with support, realizing the enormous responsibility we put on them every day. Teachers have all of the responsibility and none of the power. And if we don't change that, if we don't shift that, we're going to have less and less people entering the profession, less and less talented people entering the profession, because it truly is a talent to be a good teacher. Nobody looks at LeBron James and thinks, I can run on a basketball court and score 25 points in the NBA. But we look at teachers like just anybody can do it. You can be a master of content, you can be the smartest person on earth, but that doesn't mean you know how to deliver that content in a way that a student can receive it and teach a lesson That's a talent and that's a skill. And we have to preserve that, we have to honor that, and we have to celebrate that in a greater way than we're doing right now. And so that's our mission, is we want to be a part of changing that culture and changing not only how the teaching profession views itself, but how the community views the teaching profession.
Very good. So listen, I want to say happy anniversary again. It's your fifth year.
Yes,
and then
thank you.
Upcoming projects. I know that you just had a 5K virtual event. It's annual.
Yeah,
Tell us a little bit more.
So every year, this started during the pandemic. Speaking of the pandemic, we do an event called the Thank a Teacher Virtual 5K. And what I love about it is that you can participate from wherever you're at, in any way that you want to participate. We don't bring everybody together like a traditional marathon. You got to meet at this park at this time and run 3 miles, whatever the case may be. You can do it at home. You can do it walking, running, riding your bike, swimming, however you want to participate. So it creates an easy way for people to participate in thanking teachers. And then we ask people to tag us, share on social media how they're participating, because again, it's just about increasing and improving and creating more opportunities for people to participate in the conversation.
Right. And so when you register, those dollars go to the Teachers We Trust Endowment Fund. So it just goes right back to Lloyd's passion about empowering teachers to provide the best, highest quality education to the diversity of the students that are in the classroom.
You got it. 100%.
So it's so important.
100%.
What do you have next? What's up next?
So what's up next is we are planning our big annual fundraiser. This year's theme is going to be the adult field trip to the museum. We're partnering up with the Children's Museum, and we're going to have a lot of fun activities. Adults are going to be able to be kids again for the day. We're going to have a photo booth that's set up like a school pictures and all of that good stuff. So it's going to be a fun opportunity for the community to come together, celebrate teachers. We recognize our partners during the event and help us raise some money towards the Teachers We Trust Endowment Fund. And so people can stay tuned to our social media and our website for information on how they can sign up for that event and come and RSVP and plan on attending around the top of the year.
That's awesome. That's really, really great stuff because, you know, at the top of the interview you gave us some helpful tips on dispelling myths on nonprofits versus for-profits and then ways that you can give back to the teachers. Really, whatever you have a passion for, support it.
Yeah. Support
it so that it thrives and all can benefit from what it is that we're trying to do in the community to impact our students, our youth in education as a whole, as a country, as the United States.
Yeah.
We want to deliver great skills through teachers to empower our students to dream and dream big and become whomever they want to. And it doesn't matter where you are, what your background is, where you came from. I came from humble beginnings, and look, if I can do it, you can too. Just believe in yourself. Be about supporting the cause and not being about, destructing or being negative about it. Be a part of the solution is what I say, and not the problem.
You got it.
And, there's strength and powers, and you just never know who you connect with and who share that same passion.
Yeah. And that's what I decided to do. Instead of sitting around waiting for somebody else to do the work and create it, I decided to do it myself and be a part of creating the change that I want to see.
It's not only what Dr. Nancy knows, but it's who she knows. We'll talk next time.